Toxic. She called me toxic.
Yeah, I bet.
She called me toxic.
So cliche,
Swear I am not shit.
but I'm not though.
She called me toxic cause I won't simp out. Never get phased or react to a big mouth. She called me toxic.
She called me toxic.
She called me toxic.
Oh wow.
Y'all know what it is, man. Episode 2, Sue Me Later, the panel discussion. I'm your host, the villain with the most, Sean Bills. I got my boy Alpha G, my boy Ben Frank with me, and hey man, we lit. It is what it is. What's going on with y'all today,
Fit to
man?
be lit. That's for sure. Fit to be lit.
Okay, so let's get into the whole joint at the University of Wyoming, the sorority sisters.
Mm.
You know, there was a transformer that pledged, and they kicked them out the house. And then the university said no, can't kick the transformer out the house. And now the sisters are they're fearful.
Okay. Let me go ahead and hit this one first, if y'all don't mind. First off, yes, everybody has a human right. Humans are humans. We have rights. However, common sense would tell you if you are a male or have working male parts in a house full of women who I'm assuming probably are attractive to this man, woman, whatever he may give his own pronouns, I don't give a shit. That man should not be in that house. Clean cut and simple. Like you walking around visibly with erections and shit around these women, but you supposedly are a woman. How you a woman with a whole dick, dog? It don't work like that. You obviously want to fuck these women. Like you showing it. They see it. And then you supposedly
Nope. Cause them bitches said we talking about calling them bitches too. So let them goddamn they be on they be having their back and shit. This is what the fuck you get. Like that's I don't see. Hey, look.
I mean, I will say at some point somebody made him. At some point, somebody made this guy.
That is okay. But now he in the room with you and shit, that's the problem. No, bitch.
That's why I'm saying at some point somebody made this man comfortable enough to say, hey, I'm gonna move in here too. Like that's somewhere somebody fucked up. But why the fuck why would you think that it would be okay to like you obviously okay, you at this point you saying you want to be a woman for the benefits of being a woman. But you ain't a woman. You still a man because you obviously want to fuck one of these females in that house. You sexualizing them and shit. You walking around with the hard dick and you got it showing to these motherfuckers where they saying, yeah, we constantly see his erect penis. Like you did some shit.
Right, like that is definitely probably some baddies in there. Some just like you just can't help it. Like, like I gotta look. Like
we talking about college. Like somebody in there better than a motherfucker.
Crazy. That's crazy though. That is crazy though. Like they even allow that shit though. That's crazy. Like, but
all right,
you know, if they fault though, like I don't give a fuck. Like hey,
I was just about to say that. You know what I'm saying? So I understand it. You know, I got a daughter. And if my daughter had called me from college or something like this, yeah, I might have definitely flipped, called the lawyer. You know what I'm saying? But
you gonna flip. You gonna call the lawyer. I'm gonna be up on the way. Somebody get dragged out of that house.
But see, with me, I look at it as this is what they wanted. You know what I'm saying? Overly, and I gotta make sure I'm PC for YouTube, but the super left, women of Caucasian descent they have this mental illness movement that starts with an F and rhymes with eminism. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
third and fourth wave was pushed by that political and racial demographic, and they pushed for everybody. Everyone that is a woman, they push for that supremacy. So, if you are pushing for supremacy, if you have a supremacy movement and you gain traction, ultimately those that you are trying to reign supreme over are going to want to idolize and be like you. Case in point, you know, the the white supremacy movement, you had a lot of skin folk who ain't kinfolk because
Mm.
they idolize, massa
Color.
because of the
Color.
white supremacy movement. So you can't get mad now. You push for that, and now you got born males who are aspiring to be women because y'all said women are better than men, and now they're taking over your sacred spaces. You know what I'm saying? Y'all should, y'all locker room talk. Y'all attack men's locker rooms. Now the men want to be in y'all spaces, and then they in y'all locker room. It is what it is.
That's what they
Hey,
want. I mean, but
well, you
uh,
can't make this shit up, bro. You can't make this shit up, bro. Like
you
this is
can't.
crazy. You
Like
can't
this,
make this.
this is the new world order shit. Like they wanted women to be in everything, and now some men want to be women so they can continue to be in everything. This is what they wanted. They getting it, and now they don't like it. And we try to tell them ahead of time, hey, you're not gonna like this. If you jump off that curb and scrape your knee, you're not gonna like it, but you're gonna jump anyway. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest, I get it. Like I said, I understand these women's fear. I understand it. I know that, you know, being looked at as a piece of meat is not fun. It has happened to me. It's not fun. And I know it's something that women go through, especially if you're an attractive woman. I know it's something that women go through every day. So I'm not gonna, diminish that or whatever. But this is, people gotta understand, nobody in this country has the audacity like the super left women of Caucasian descent in the
Yeah.
United States of America. This
Karen.
is what they push.
Karen.
And following this movement, and so you have a lot of people who just, they think, and me, I'm an independent. I don't belong to any party. I don't think the right is nice either. But you have people in this country, especially in our demographic and younger, that think everything the right does is wrong, and the left is the quote unquote good party. When, to be honest, neither are really working in the best interest of the people. Because the best interest of the people would be for them to put aside their differences and compromise with each other, and they never do. So, with that being said, if you are a part of a political party and you are gang banging this political party, because that's what has happened, especially since the past two elections, it seems like politics has become a gang affiliation,
It is.
So
It is. Like
th-
real shit.
I just want to let people know, be careful who you follow, be careful what movements you follow. Do your own research on the movements that you follow. And if people would have did their research and understand that third and fourth wave mental illness movement that rhymes with eminism, um, they would understand that it was not about equality anymore. It was about supremacy. And when you start doing that, there's consequences for that. And this is one of the consequences. This is what happens. Same thing with any movement. That's why I don't follow the BLM movement, because doing my own research, I found that they don't support original nuclear black families.
And
They
to piggyback on that, there is actually several different BLM movements, which I feel like a lot of the world does not understand. The main one that everybody sees, the one that's usually some type of hate mongering type of group, that is the one that they put on the forefront of the news sites and to be in society, to join the leftist society standard. That's not the real. That's just what they make it look like to make it look good. The real don't do
that's
that.
not even BLM. That's Antifa. Antifa puts plants into peaceful protests to start civil unrest and to cause riots.
And
Yeah,
they
like
themselves as BLM movement.
yeah, and a lot of the times they not even skin folk. A lot of the times they call themselves allies and they go there and purposely start trouble. But no, I wasn't even referring to that. I'm talking about the national umbrella of BLM. If you go on their website, and they've removed it, but
Yeah.
originally they were against the nuclear black family. If
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
against the
yeah.
nuclear black family, that means you're against black fathers. That
Yeah.
means you're against me. So if you're against me, it is what it is. And then just all the news that come out about them not really helping the families. It's like, well, most of these victims are black men. So you scamming the families of black men.
Yep.
You're not for black fathers, so you're not for me. All right, cool. That's why I don't support the movement. I don't rock with it when everybody changed their Avies to black. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm not in support of them. So because honestly, they're not in support of us. So it is what it is. But yeah, man, this one here was a touchy subject. Apparently there's a case going on about it. I'm gonna pay attention to this case because you know, and because there's an ongoing case right now, the transformer isn't allowed to live there, but they are allowed to go there for dinners and sorority activities that are held
Okay.
at the house.
So pretty
Okay.
much they've been put in the place of a gay man. Pretty much.
Um, sort of,
Being that
kinda.
they can attend sorority events and such, but they cannot live as a school sorority member.
Well, they can't. They just can't live at the house. So
Right.
they're technically looked at as a sorority member, as a woman, but they can't live on the premises.
Right.
So
And just to be clear, I mean, I don't know how y'all feel. I don't have no problem with the trans lifestyle of humans. That's what they want to do. That's them. Fine. Do I necessarily agree with everything they do? No. But at the same time, I also don't necessarily agree with everything black people do. All I'm saying is, folks is gonna be folks. People gonna do what they want to do. They're gonna live how they want to live. But once you start living to where it interferes with how I can live, that's where I have a problem at. So, as a PSA, and I think we all on the same page, we don't hate that.
I just feel like they need to actually, like, real. I just feel like they just need to leave that shit out of school, like out of the cartoons and shit like that. Like, no, don't talk about that shit too.
That's
like,
another thing we're gonna get into. We got to get into that. But
yeah,
as the just let me say this as our PSA. We don't hate nobody. We just
speak
don't
for yourselves.
be crazy.
Speak for yourselves. I hate humans in general. Okay. I am not a people person. I do not like human beings. I do not like Homo sapiens. I'm letting y'all know that right now. I don't care what color you are, what race you are, what background you're from. 98% of Homo sapiens to me are the scum of the earth. Okay. Y'all can talk with y'all. Now, me, I don't despise anyone because of their movement or what they believe or choose to identify as, because it's currently Thursday and I identify as an Akatsuki member. Um, Tomorrow I may identify as a Saiyan, word to Broly and Vegeta. But I don't I don't I'm just not a people person. I don't like humans. Like me,
No.
um
You hitting some facts with that. I get that.
because if you look at history, there has been no animal put on this stupid dumb rock floating in the middle of the solar system. There's been no animal put on this earth that has been more destructive, not only to itself, but to other life forms and the earth itself than humans. Sometimes we are too smart for our own good. We need to leave things alone,
I agree.
but but I digress on that. But no, I do not like the alphabet gang. Um
It's a
Kudos to
little.
them. Yeah,
It's,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
this is my thing. As long as you are an adult, as long as who you're messing with is a legal consenting adult, I don't, well, adult human, I don't care who you have in your bedroom, who you choose to deal with, who you want to identify as. Like I said, I'm an Akatsuki member today, the hat, the chain, the shirt. Tomorrow I may be a Saiyan. When I was about 5, I identified as Billy the Blue Power Ranger for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. You know what I'm saying? Like, if
I was White Ranger.
look, and look, man, I still play video games. You might catch me on Pokemon. On Pokemon, I'm Trainer Black. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I have many identities. So I can't tell anybody what they choose to identify as, whatever. That's what you want to do. Cool. This is my only thing. The same way I don't push my beliefs onto people. I just don't want anyone to push their belief. I don't want people to push their beliefs onto me. You know what I'm saying? So here's what I think. I think that the alphabet gang, you know what they are? They are they're the social media and college campus Jehovah Witness.
That's it. That's it.
Y'all remember back in the day, because they don't do it as much now, but y'all remember back in the day, early Saturday morning, somebody knocking on your door like they the police, and it be a Jehovah Witness trying to spread their word to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. But you go on social media, boom, they right there. You on a college campus, they right there. You turn on the TV, they right there. You know what I'm saying? Like they're just pushing us. And that also goes into the video that I sent y'all, where it's like we live in the Western modern world. Nowadays, you can't find a TV show, whether it be an adult TV show. Not well, we'll leave it at adult content for right now. Any adult show, you can't find one that does not have a person, that is a part of that community. And me, I'm of the mindset, just make it make sense. Like, don't just throw them in there to throw them in there. Like, I know a lot of people was mad about the Thor movie because it did have, some L in the LGBTQ choice. They have some L relationships. But in the comics, that was already the case. So it wasn't like they just threw her in there to throw her in there. I mean, it didn't save the movie anyway. The movie was garbage. Marvel, you need to get back to what you used to do, because trash. But
I like the
Love
movie.
and Thunder, nah, Love and Thunder was garbage, bro. Love and Thunder was garbage. We'll look. We gonna get drunk and have a conversation about that. Love and Thunder was garbage. Marvel right now is I don't know what they got going on. They was like 2022 Jordan Poole, and now they 2023 Jordan Poole. Like it's just bad. But watching that video.
Well, let's go into. We gonna just go right into the next topic then for that. Because this we
Yeah,
talking
like
about
the TV. We still gonna talk about like the entertainment and media joint. Like, we live in the Western modern world, and everything now has if it's not someone who is, you know, a part of that movement, then it's a transformer. And like I said, I don't mind it. Just make it make sense. Yo, 50, look, man, less scenes with Drew, more scenes with, you know, maybe light-skinned Keisha or something like that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Look.
Like fifth, we get it. We get it. Drew is out here knocking them down. That's cool, Drew, but I don't need to see it every episode, bro. Then they sprinkle it into the important stuff. So somebody is getting bodied, and then they cutting the scenes back and forth, back and forth. So why does somebody get bodied and then cut the scene and it's Drew on top of it? Yo, bro, this don't even mix, my man's. Like, what are we doing here? That's what I'm saying.
What he's doing. I'm gonna tell you what he's doing. 50 is playing to the money. That's what he's doing. Like, he's putting aside, because I mean, I don't know him personally. I don't think none of us do know who he grew up around or any of that shit. But 50 is playing to the money. He knows if he dive into that area, it's going to open up a whole lot more gates, and it's going to bring more viewers and more money, because yes, there is a lot of LGBT and damn near anything and everything on TV now, but they're not getting into the deep sexual parts of shit. 50 opens up that gate. He opens up a lot more gates to money. Do I want to see that shit? Not necessarily. But he's doing what plays the money.
Well, you know, that's not him. That's the producers and the editors.
It's got to be some of him. It's got to be some.
Nah, because even he said, like, damn, you know, like he admitted it was a little excessive this season. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying is, yo, just make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like I watched the new Bel-Air, and I don't know if y'all watched the new Bel-Air, but you know, I like it. It's actually very well.
I haven't seen it yet. I got it on my shit, but I ain't seen it yet.
Okay, well, one of the children does think they swing for the other team.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna tell you.
I've heard bits and pieces. I just haven't watched it myself. I've heard enough to know the gist, but I expected something. Like,
I'm not gonna tell y'all which character, but the way it's written, it makes sense. It's not thrown in your face. It makes sense. And I get why they did it, because, you know, even as a black guy, I understand representation matters. So I get why they did it. And this is not supposed to be a quote unquote traditional, retelling of the Fresh Prince. It is a modern day version. It's a modern day version of it. So it's inspired by the Fresh Prince, but it doesn't follow it to a T. And I think because it doesn't, that's what makes it a dope show. Like, it really is a dope show. But like I said, one of the children does think they believe that they play for the other team, and it makes sense. The show is not for kids, so, you know, I don't have no problem with it. And like I said, it makes sense. The writing is great. The way that they hint at it, you kind of already know. Like, we all know, we all have family members who swing for the other team, and we knew at a young age, like, yeah, that girl or yeah, that boy.
We didn't know an idea, because like certain shit is like, what you doing?
Yeah, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, we and that's how they wrote it. They wrote it to where it's like, okay, you a little too close to your friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a little too attached to your friend.
That's how I hope y'all seen the Best Man series.
Yes.
So when they introduced old boy's son as being what was the word they used for him? He had like multiple people in him or something, multiple pronouns.
Non-binary.
Non-binary, right. They introduced him. I was like, okay, at this point, they just trying to have societal standards.
You know what I'm saying? And representation matters. I don't understand this non-binary thing. Well, I did coding in high school, so when I think of binary, I think computer code, O's and ones.
Zero.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't understand it. But yeah, man, like I said, just make it make sense. That is all I ask. And
Man,
then
I wish they would, because like honestly, every big movie, every big show, it's like it's just thrown in there majority of the time. And I'm like, okay, again, representation, yeah, but it ain't. I mean, I understand that's how a lot of people live. That's what a lot of people want to do. That's cool. But every show, every movie, like the movie It, man. Like they made one of the characters near the end of the movie professes love to another character that was best friends with in the newer It movie. I'm like, this ain't happening in the first It. Well, nothing like this scene in the first It. But because of representation, I'm hoping, and not just an agenda, even though we probably know it is an agenda.
it's
But
an agenda.
representation, they decided to throw that in there, and I'm like, I mean, I guess
Yeah,
it is.
it's definitely an agenda, of course. And I think the agenda rears its head when they start implementing this into children's
Yeah. Now
shows. And that's
that's where I disagree. Like
yeah,
that there should be representation, but when it comes to these kids shows that's targeted for ages 7 to 14, certain stuff needs to be discussed in the home, not
bro,
on
it's young, it's younger than that.
putting their face, huh?
Bro, it's younger than that. They got
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Disney caught flack for having a princess who was a boy in a dress. You know what I'm saying? Calling herself a princess. They caught flack for that. You know, Sesame Street. Years and years and years, the creators of Sesame Street said that Bert and Ernie were just friends and roommates. A few years ago, they come out and say, "Oh, they're a couple." Like, you know what I'm saying? It's younger than that. Like, and this is my thing. I don't care if it's hetero, homo, whatever else. Leave all that out of kid stuff. I don't want to see men and women kissing. I don't want to see men and men kissing. I don't want to see women and women kissing when I'm watching kids
yeah,
stuff. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, leave all of that out. You know, if you want to have a princess and a prince, like the way they used to do it when we was younger, it was princess, prince, and they say they in love, and the most we see is a hug,
Right.
a hug and a dance. You know what I'm saying? Like, or maybe a little peck, like that, and not like right there
Yeah.
was you know what I'm saying? Like, leave sexuality, whether you
Mhm.
straight, you know, you swinging for whatever team you swinging for, leave it all out of kid stuff, man. I'm
Mhm.
cool with that. Leave it all out of kid stuff because I don't care what people say. I don't think it brainwashes, but children are impressionable.
Yeah.
If you keep like, and psychologists have said this. So to all the people, and it's funny because I see a lot of women jumping at this. So all the people who say, "Oh, a show is not gonna make your kid, quote unquote, you know, whatever." No, what it does is it inquires your child's mind to
Mhm.
experiment with different things that they don't necessarily need to be experimenting with because they're children.
And see, that's another thing that I don't even know if this was posted in the chat earlier, if I just saw it, but like a big thing about that, everything has a place. So when it comes to sexuality, gay, lesbian, whatever, I honestly feel like that shit should be taught in sex ed. Like that's the time to talk about those things, because that is the time when hormones are peaked. That is the time when hormones are even discussed, what it means to feel how you feel. It should be discussed there, not put on the cartoon shows, not put the movies where the children are just seeing it and they're like, oh, what does this mean? No, it should be in a class situation. It should be where there can be an educational purpose behind it, to where you can understand who you are. It'll almost be more like therapy.
I'm gonna talk about that in a sec. Yo, Alpha, you wanna we gonna stay on that one. Alpha, you got anything to say about that? with sexuality should be taught in sex ed?
I mean, I don't even nah. Cause for me, bro, it's like, and I don't have nothing against this shit. I just feel like people need to understand, like, even especially them that, you know, since you take this lifestyle, whatever, for one, this is the first thing. Since you want to take this lifestyle, you understand, like, you're going against nature, my nigga. Like, so we are meant to procreate. You took that away from yourself. Two, you can't. I don't want my kids watching this because I'm trying to raise my kids. Like, I can't. You're making it difficult for me to raise my kid. Like, cause I might not want my kid to be like that. You know what I'm saying? But and then three, in sex ed, you need to be learning about, you know, getting clapped, condoms and shit like that. You feel what I'm saying? Like, sexuality shouldn't need to be like even be taught. Period. Like,
See, here's why I say that though. We all grew up and been around shit we had no business around at some point, and we had to learn from those people that was around it. If it is in a class setting, all questions, all thoughts, everything can be discussed, and you could possibly avoid shit that you don't know about, where somebody could introduce to you and get over you on. Like, you know, there's a lot of shit out there. It's a lot of different types of lifestyles, a lot of different types of people. And those people don't necessarily always move with a positive reinforcement of their lifestyle. So in the event of avoiding our young from getting got, if they can see exactly what's going on, know what taking this step will get them in this lifestyle, as opposed to taking this step and living the traditional lifestyle. There, because honestly, a lot of the what I think anyway, this is just my opinion. A lot of what the LGBT community is reactive instead of proactive. I feel like a lot of people, from the few people that have talked to me about their actual lives, of what they say made them like men or like women or whatever, a lot of it was due to trauma. A lot of it was due to not knowing. A lot of it was due to experimenting. Oh, I like it, I'm gonna keep doing it, without knowing the repercussions. There are repercussions. Is the repercussions right or wrong? That's depending on the person. But there are repercussions. And I feel like a lot of people back then did not necessarily know what the repercussions could be from being gay, lesbian, non-binary, any of that.
I feel like when it comes to like when it comes to like the sexuality, like being taught sexuality, the lifestyle and shit, that should come from the parents. Like, that's something you should really like sit, like, as a parent, like, you should like sit down with your. I don't have kids, bro. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm just thinking, like, if it was me right now, like, I would really just sit down one day and just, at a certain age, I want to bring it like while they young and shit, but like at a certain age, I'd be like, so
But see,
like?
that's why I said I think it needs to be. That's why I said I think it needs to be discussed in sex ed.
Some things you really gotta be on some parents and shit. Like, that's some parents, like, especially nowadays with this shit going on, cause we didn't have this back in the day. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
You feel? But like somebody always say, you can't really raise your kid how your parents raised you, because they raised you for, they ain't even know how to raise you for what the fuck was going on for real.
But see, that's why I say that's
cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like, we got a lot, like, all the kids now, bro.
Yeah.
It's a lot of shit.
But see, that's why I say it should be taught in sex ed, because at that point, the parent, because I mean, when I was in sex ed, the parent had the option to say, no, I don't want my child in this yet, or no, I'm going to teach them my own and omit him from this class. At that point, you're at least getting a warning of, hey, this may be talked about in this curriculum. If you do not want your child to participate, you can have them omitted or do your own thing. at least in that point of sexuality being taught in sex ed, we have a little bit more say so. That's the only thing I'm saying about that.
All right, I'm gonna tag myself in here. I get what both of y'all are saying. As a dad who has a child taking family life,
Wait,
and
what?
yeah, it's more about them learning about puberty.
They
They're
start.
learning, yeah, because girls start puberty. They can start puberty as early as 9.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I,
like it. Yeah, nah, they don't get into the sex stuff. No, they don't get into that. They get into, this is how your body's gonna change, how to wear proper deodorant. They teach the girls about menstruation and stuff like that. Like that's and that's and when they talk about, you know, body parts, they separate them. They separate the
okay.
kids. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It
Hold
ain't trust.
on,
Come on, man.
because I remember that shit. We was all in one room. It didn't separate till like the last day or whatever when it got the real shit. But yeah, I'm like,
But
I ain't my princess learn about this shit right now.
here's my thing. I am of the mindset of sex ed should be strictly about sex. Now, I get what you're saying about sexuality, but here is where I'm gonna give you a little pushback. I do not trust these political agendas. And who creates these school curriculums? The politicians.
That's true.
Exactly.
That's true.
So
That's true.
if you live in, and I'm gonna play devil's advocate on both sides. If you live in a conservative state, if you know that state is like radically conservative, they're gonna shit on all of the other sexualities if you allow them to put that in the curriculum. They're not gonna put it in the curriculum. They're gonna be like, no, it's wrong. You shouldn't do it. Whereas if you live in a radically liberal state, they're gonna put everything in there and they're gonna push that to your kid to wanna, experiment and all that other shit. The radical liberals, they push sexual liberation. I don't want anybody telling my daughter that it is okay to be quote unquote sexually liberated. I think it is a dangerous slope when you start putting lifestyle choices into curriculums of children. So, what I believe should be taught is straight sexual intercourse, STDs, all of
Right.
that.
Right.
And I
Right.
think there should be maybe a mention of, you know, sex doesn't have to be strictly between men and women, but there are dangers to that as well. Leave it at that. I'm of the mindset of you need to have that talk with your kids. I'll give you a prime example because my daughter, she's in grade school. She's in elementary school. When she was in first grade, the first week of school, she came home and she was like, Daddy, you storytelling me. I'm like, what you talking about? I ain't lie to you. And she like, you told me boys are not allowed to wear dresses. She was in first grade. In the lunchroom, there was a little boy in a dress. But growing up, when we would go clothes shopping, I would show her the difference between boy clothes and girl clothes, because there's a boys section and a girls section, and how the clothes would fit. And you see how there's dresses and skirts in the girls section, and in the boys section there's not. And my daughter's a girly girl. Like if she could wear skirts and dresses every day, she would. That's her thing. She don't like wearing pants. So of her mind, it's like daddy has been telling me the difference between boys and girls my whole life, but I start first grade, and the first thing I see in the first week of school is something different from what my daddy was telling me. So I don't want the school explaining that to her. I want her to come home and bring that to me and trust me enough to know, hey, what is this? And we had that conversation because she was going to go over there and tell the boy. She said, I'm going to school tomorrow to tell the boy that he is not allowed to wear dresses. Only girls are allowed to wear dresses. And y'all know me. I'm like, hold on, single dad. I'm black. You can't go to school doing that because they calling the people on me. Time out, baby girl. And then I had to explain to her, hey, and I told her, traditionally, only only girls wear dresses. I said, but you have some people that choose to live differently than others. And I said, baby, as long as they're not hurting you or hurting anyone else, you can't. I said, don't say anything to them. They have the right to live how they want to live. I said, and that's how I handled that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't push any belief or disbelief onto her. I told her to allow that little boy to do what he want to do. He not hurting nobody. I understand it, but it was a culture shock for her. You gotta think she was 6.
Yeah.
She was 6, and
I mean,
you know,
confusing shit out of anybody.
look, you know how your niece is, man. She's a girly girl. Like, yo, Alpha, I put it to you one time, like, yo, she tried to argue with me at 4 years old. And I had to tell her, like, hold on, this is not a democracy, this is a dictatorship. But at 4 years old, I told her it was like 30 degrees outside. I'm telling her to put on her skinny jeans. These were super skinny jeans, and the tag on the jeans were a glittery pink. And she's telling me, Dad, why are you trying to dress me like a prince? I'm not a prince. I'm a princess. Princesses don't wear jeans. Princes wear jeans. And I said, little girl, those are girl jeans. Daddy, princesses don't wear jeans. I am a princess. I said, girl, if you don't put them, I said, you don't put them jeans on, man. Yo, stop playing with me, man. It's 30 degrees outside. You talking about you want to wear a tutu. Man, get out of here, man.
I can hear the conversation in my head right now.
And I said, look at the tag. The tag is pink. I said, it got glitter on it. I said, look at. I said, boys' jeans don't, shape at the hip the way that these do. You know what I'm saying? And so you got to think. We had that discussion, and then just 2 years later, she goes to school and sees a boy in a dress. So now it's like, whoa, Dad, like, did what you tell me not true? And it's like, I wanted her to do that because how she asked, one of these teachers, because let's keep it real. Most universities and colleges nowadays are super liberal. So 9 times out of 10, the teachers are gonna be super liberal. So how she asked one of them teachers, they probably would have gave her, some propaganda. And I don't want that. Like, allow me
That's what I'm saying.
to speak to my kid. So that's what I meant when I said, like, you gotta be careful putting that stuff in the curriculum because
yeah. I mean, but that's what I'm saying though. It comes down to kind of like how weed is. Like, they taught us for a while, weed is bad, don't do drugs, blah, blah, blah. And what did most of us end up doing? Smoking a motherfucking blunt behind the school or skipping school to go somewhere and do that shit, learn about it that way. It's like, that is a possibility. You ain't got to rub your hands. You ain't got to rub your hands, G.
But nah, look, here's the thing though. See,
I don't know that.
You got to understand with kids, and you know this because little man is growing. Shout out the nephew. The more you tell kids that something is bad and not to do it, the more they are going to want to do it. So what I'm saying is, it's a slippery slope because if you live in a super conservative state, your politicians in that state are going to push that lifestyle is bad. Don't do that. That is ungodly. All that. And what are you going to have? You're going to have some who follow that, and then you're going to have some children that are naturally going to rebel. And then vice versa, if you live in a super liberal state, they're going to push sexual liberation onto the children. They're going to push live however you want to live. They're telling these kids you can do whatever you want to do. And that's why I said I don't want it in the curriculum. Like I don't want it in the curriculum. Here, what I said, because I think you might have left. What I had said was
I heard you. I
yeah.
say too. I
So
agree with what you said about that. It should be touched on, but not put in too much detail. I can get
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like acknowledge that may happen.
Let them know it exists, but the school system itself should not go into details of what comes with that lifestyle. I can get that. I can agree.
Yeah. Yeah, just be like, yo, come on, look, by the time, especially our generation, unfortunately, by the time most of us got the 7th, 8th grade, by the time most of us got the 7th, 8th grade, we was knocking them down anyway. So it wasn't really much they was trying to teach us shit that we was already doing. So that's my thing. Like
Pornhub was my best friend at that time.
Lord have mercy. But that's my thing where it's like I don't want to push that. Like you can just acknowledge it. Like, yo, I know some of y'all may not be having quote unquote traditional intercourse or thinking about having quote unquote traditional intercourse, but these are still the parameters. I'm not parameters, but these are still the precautions you need to take, and these STDs are still possible. And leave it at that.
Yeah.
Ooh, excuse me. Like if they want to not experiment, but if they want to have more questions or they want to get into that more, then I think that they should go to their parents or guardians and have that discussion. And if they feel like they can't, then
guidance counselor.
Yeah, that's when I think a guidance counselor should, with the parents' permission, because they're still minors.
Yeah.
Provide them with some maybe resources, that they can listen to. I don't want that. Like, I don't believe that should be in the curriculum because it's politics driven, and whatever you believe, whatever those politicians believe can be pushed, whether it's for or against. Because I'm of the mindset of, like I said, you do what you want to do, as long as you ain't stopping my money or hurting anybody I know or hurting people in general. Like I'm good. I'm good.
Right, yeah.
But like with these politics, man, like I don't think, like, a lot of people don't pay attention to like what been going on. Like I don't think they really be paying attention. Like this whole transformer situation, like this is a really big topic. Like this is going to be like a really big stance in these next upcoming elections. So whether it's presidential or on the state level, and the state level actually is more important, but this is going to be a crazy, like, strong topic. So how do people, want to position their power and their stance? That you don't want to start putting out in curriculums, because then it's a trickle down effect onto the children. Like we just talked about agendas with the children. I don't want an agenda with the children on either side. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want them telling children, oh, it's ungodly this or whatever. Like, because who's to say that what your religion is that child's religion? Or who's to say that child grew up in a religious household? Or who's to say, like, that's when you start not separating church and state. And if you're not separating church and state, you open up another rabbit hole, because that's an amendment. If you're going against the amendments, what other amendments are you going to go against? You know what I'm saying? Like, you open up Pandora's box doing all that, and I ain't with all that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think parents should have the liberty to go into detail about lifestyles. Now, like I said, and then some parents may push what they personally believe onto their children. But guess what? They had them kids. That's their right. They're not a politician. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I get into that. But let's get in.
it's just so dangerous out here, yo. It's so dangerous out here for the kids nowadays, bro. Like,
Yo,
really,
and you
like,
want to know what's crazy? I
bro. I be
you
paying attention, but I really do be paying attention, bro. And
you
I know, bro. I know.
you want to know why it's so crazy? See, when we were growing up, we didn't have this type of radical media. And as someone who was a journalism major, I peeped and paid attention. The reason there isn't much ethics in journalism and reporting and newscasting anymore is because about 10 years ago, the Obama administration passed a law where propaganda is legal. Propaganda has been legal for 10 years now.
Mm.
Before that, it was not legal. A news station or whatever, and they still had their agendas, but they couldn't purposely put out propaganda to shape the people. Now they can. Now for the past 10 years, they've been able to do that. So that's why it hasn't. That's why the ethics have gone completely down the drain. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, nah, leave all that out of the curriculums, because there's no ethics in politics like that for real. You know what I'm saying? So that was my biggest thing. But let's get into, we got two more topics. Um and this kind of still talks about the Transformers. So let's get into, remember we mentioned that
Fuck it. Optimus Prime
that
all the time.
remember we talked about that delusional woman on the podcast. Come to find out, there's another clip circulating around, and
Yep.
that woman is actually not a born female. So apparently, this woman,
This man.
this person, yeah, is a man, and said that they get shamed for not wearing, and I'll link the video and everything. Like when I edit this, I'll put the video in there. So what are your thoughts on the delusion when it comes to wear what you want, blah, say, blah, and all of that?
So, because I have seen plenty of women that I don't agree with what they wear. I don't agree with what they wear. If I have my own preference in what I think is sexy, what I think looks good, and some women wear what they feel comfortable in, what they feel confident in, that's fine. Do you? Will I agree? Maybe, maybe not. But what becomes the problem is when you think that you are so entitled that I have to agree, or I am against your entire lifestyle because I don't agree with what you're wearing. That's where the problem stems. Because you are a man who believes that they are a woman in a man's body, and you want to dress as a woman when you are a 6'5", hairy, overweight man. I don't want to see that. I can't think of too many people that do want to see that. That's your life. That's your choice. I don't agree with it, but at the same time, I don't hate you for it. It just ain't something I don't want to see. I don't want to see it.
Here's my thing. Again, people could do whatever they want to do. But I think where society has gone astray is that there are too many grown adults who want the ability. Excuse me. There are too many grown adults who want the ability to do whatever they want to do, but not the responsibility of consequences that come with those choices. And that's where I have a problem. Like, yo, I'm a big guy. If I come outside looking crazy and someone says something to me, like,
It'll be me.
I can't, like, I can be upset at maybe what they said, but I can't be upset at the fact somebody said something to me, because it is what it is. Like,
Right.
You know, if I choose to put myself out there, I have to understand that not everyone is going to receive what I do positively. And
Right.
I think what's happening is that we label everything bullying or
Mhm.
shaming. And what happens is that we are taking away free speech. Now, I'm not saying go do something to somebody, but yo, if you come outside looking crazy and I say, yo, your outfit is fucked up or you don't look good in that outfit, like I have that right. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like just like you have that right to wear that, I have that right to be like, yo, I don't fuck with that.
That's it.
Like, and what has happened is that the media and on social media, they try to bully you into not saying what you believe. And that's where I have the problem. Like, I don't care if you 500 pounds and you want to wear a bikini. That is your right. But
Through
if I
Respucia.
but if I get a joke in my head and I start clowning, I don't think you should be mad because you put yourself out there. Like anything else you do, like everything you do, if you put yourself out to the public, you have to be prepared for criticism. No matter what you do, they criticized, you know, a lot of people. They talked about the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what makes you think that you should be immune to criticism or, like, no, no,
Anybody
no.
can get it.
Everybody can get it. That's the slogan here. Everybody can get it.
Every single,
Merch coming soon. Merch coming soon. Everybody can get it. Sue me
every,
later. Merch coming soon.
that's all it
But
is. That I mean, we all as people have an opinion on everything, whether they want to admit it or not. You've had a thought against or for every little thing that has crossed your path.
like, yeah, like me, I'm a grown man. I wear a lot of anime merch. I have an Akatsuki chain on, a Akatsuki shirt, a Akatsuki hat. You know, my watch is an Invicta, but it's based on the Punisher. Like it has a gold skull in it.
Mhm.
You don't like if someone says, "Yo, you're childish from wearing comic book and anime and manga merch." What am I gonna be like? Oh my god, why are you anime shaming me? You're cartoon shaming me. I don't
Right.
care. That's their opinion. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
get mad at somebody for their opinion. Like I don't care. Like, you know. So that be my thing. Like, I believe I'm fly. Like, I mean, I get more compliments than not on the drip. But if
Same.
somebody don't,
Same here.
yeah, if somebody don't like my fit, I don't care.
Exactly.
Okay.
This shit. You didn't buy this shit. I bought this shit. I'm
Yeah,
wearing
like I'm not
it.
gonna go on social media and be like, they're bullying me, they're shaming me. You
Oh,
know,
it makes
no.
sure. Oh, fuck them
Yeah, you know
people.
what I'm saying? Like everything you do, if you how whatever you present to the public is criticism is gonna come with it. No matter if you're doing good, you can save 100 kids from a burning building, and somebody's gonna be like, "Well, why didn't you save 101?" Like people always gonna have something to say, and I think when we try to police what people like people's opinions, I think that's a dangerous, dangerous, dangerous game. And that's where we're moving away from quote unquote democracy and more into like a more dictatorship
Yeah.
or communist type of what's the name. So I think people should really be careful on labeling everything bullying or shaming or and then trying to police what people can and can't say. You know what I'm saying? Like that to me is wild. Like
Yeah.
because free speech, you know what I'm saying? Like
And
I
that's
exercise my First
it.
Amendment.
Free
And
speech.
I
Society is deeming what is actual free speech and what isn't now. And that's the fucked up part.
facts. Like look at the hyena that came after me on Facebook yesterday.
Yeah.
Ah,
Like Charlotte was tripping. But I mean, That's another thing about free speech. At no point in time did you diminish her opinion of whatever she felt. You sat there and said, "Hey, that's you. I don't agree, but it is what it is." And that is what it is lifestyle is what a lot of folks need to adapt on. Not necessarily, oh, you saying this is going against me, you hate. No, it should be it is what it is. You say
And
that,
that's
I say this. Life goes on.
and that's where I think everything gets crazy because she was trying to argue a point that I never made. Like she took what I said and made up her own scenario and own context to it, and basically was irate for nothing. And you saw I
Hy-
was laughing the whole time. I'm like, yo, this is funny. I, recommended my friend that's a therapist. Like, let me help you out, help out our black
Hyperreaction,
women, support
hyperreaction
black women.
realization.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I what's the name? You know, I was very disciplined.
Yeah. No,
And
you did good.
and speaking of discipline, I want to get into this last topic, the Cash App man
Mm.
that got stabbed up. So come to find out, this was
E- e-
not a
Explain
random
the
attack.
story first. Explain the story first, and then because I got some
Okay.
shit on this one.
So come to find out, this was not a random act of violence. The alleged person that did this was actually the brother of a woman that the Cash App man, the victim, was having sexual relations with. Now, here's the big issue. The biggest issue is that the Cash App man was married. The woman he was dealing with was married. And they have two very different cultures. The Cash App man is a Caucasian and he is an American. The woman that he was dealing with are one of but she's of Middle Eastern descent, and I want to say she's Iranian. I,
Yeah,
I I believe her family is from Iran,
I believe so.
and their culture and how they deem their women and everything is vastly different than what goes on here in the West. So apparently that during that day, like the Cash App guy and the woman, they were part of this like underground elite ring of drug nightlife parties where they would go to these parties and get real high together and all of that, and they were sleeping together. Again, both are married, so they have families. So they were cheating out of their marriage, like outside of their marriage to do this. So knowing that the Iranian brother approached him, he pressed him. They had a heated argument. There's text messages of the woman telling, the dude, you handled that very well. And that night they met up again, and that's when the brother stabbed up dude. And this is I know people are gonna be like, that's a horrible story, but I blame the Cash App man. His name is Bob Lee. I blame Bob Lee. This is why I blame Bob Lee, because Bob Lee is the founder of Cash App. Bob Lee is a 1% man as far as earnings go. He is in the top 1% of earners. You have a lot to lose. You have a wife, you have kids. You have a lot to lose. Not practicing dick discipline got you murdered, bro. Because if you was gonna step out on your wife, which I don't condone, but if you were gonna do that, you picked the wrong ethnicity of women to deal with. Number
Yeah.
one, you picked another married woman. he's lucky it wasn't the husband.
Mhm.
But from what I'm reading, the husband is like a very, very, very decorated plastic surgeon in the area. So he probably had a lot to lose. But like I said, he lucky it wasn't the husband. But yo, these men in the Middle East, they do not play with their women, whether it's their mothers, their sisters. Like in Islamic culture, you know, they are very hard. Well, I'm not gonna say Islamic culture. In the Middle East, they are very tough on their women, and they do not play around. And he should have did his due diligence and realized, yo, this is the type of situation I don't need to get myself into. Number one, you shouldn't have got yourself into it in the first place because you should have had dick discipline. But number two, you stepping into a whole nother culture. That brother did that, allegedly did that, and he thought he was protecting his sister's honor. That's how they get down over there. So
very traditional.
To us in America, in the West, we're like, yo, that's crazy. Like, your sister gonna do what she gonna do anyway. She a grown woman. But that's not how they get down over there. And you have to be cognizant of that. And he wasn't. And because he couldn't keep his dick in his pants, he got he got sent to the upper room.
The upper room.
And it is what it is. I don't blame anybody in this situation but Bob Lee. Bob Lee is at fault because he is in control of his choices. I don't blame nobody else in this situation.
That's it. Like it all started and ended with him. And he did not realize within the time allotted that, hey, this is a married woman of a different type of lifestyle. Maybe I should not mess with her. Maybe I should have paid this girl from the street at 3 a.m. to handle me and take care of me. And it could have went a different way. But he didn't want to do that. He wanted to keep things in-house and thought that maybe he could get away with it because he had the money. Money don't always fix that type of thing.
But here's the crazy thing. This happened in San Francisco. He don't even live there. He lived in Florida. His family is on the East Coast. So he all the way over here, like wilding and going to these crazy parties and dealing with this woman from this culture where they are notoriously very tough on them. I think Iran is the country that recently, like a few years ago, they still stoning women over there.
Yeah,
like they don't play. So he should have known that, bro. Like that's crazy, man. Dick discipline
is not always bliss.
Dick discipline.
That's
like it. Fellas, learn it. Not all pussy is good pussy, man. Leave it alone. I don't care how bad she is. I don't care how good she smell. Protect yourselves. And that go into this last topic I want to throw in here. Let me pull this up because this is a sad situation altogether. We got the brother in Texas by the name of Harold Thompson, only 22 years old. He executed, because they have the video evidence, he's going to jail. He executed his girlfriend because she went and got an abortion when he begged her to keep the child. And nobody wins here. Now, I see people on various sides. I see a lot of saying, hold on. My bad. It's cold kicking my ass. But I seen a lot of people saying, well, he murdered a murderer. Then I see a lot of people saying, you know, he's the scum of the earth, blah, blah, blah. And here's my thing. I'm sort of in the middle because while I don't condone what he did, I understand it.
Mm.
Imagine conceiving a child, wanting to be a dad, and having that stripped away from you, and there's nothing you could do about it.
I've been there. I've
And
been.
it's an unfortunate situation. Like I said, I do not condone what he did, but I understand it. And now, he's gonna go to jail forever. So his life is essentially over. His girlfriend's life is over. The baby's life is over. Nobody won in this situation. No,
Mhm.
nobody won. This is a sad situation altogether. And I think this goes back to Dick discipline
Mm.
because he should have known the type of woman he was dealing with. If
Yep.
you were dealing with a woman who's not ready to be a mom, then you need to either not be doing what you're doing with her, or you need to put a rubber on
Yep.
and protect yourself.
Mhm.
And as
He,
men,
he
a lot
fell
of
into
it,
the female category with that. He fell
yeah,
into
and
he fell into the I can change her, I can make her do what I want. That's what females do, and that's not what he should have done. He should have seen the signs, because I'm sure at some point in time she was like, I don't want kids, I don't want this, I don't want that. And he's like, well, it could be this, it could be that. She's like, okay, but that's not how shit works, though. You can't make somebody
facts.
do something they don't want to do, because at the end of the day, they're gonna find a way out.
Then I also heard that there's a rumor, I don't know if it's true. There's a rumor going around that the reason she got the abortion, and like I said, I don't know if this is true. They're saying the reason she got the abortion is because she told him that it may not be his child, which means that she may have been stepping out on him.
Mm.
So again, you have to realize this type of woman you're dealing with, or the
Yep.
type of person. You know what I'm saying? Like women too. Realize the type of person you're dealing with.
Mm.
So that's where I give him blame. Of course, I give him blame for he didn't have to execute her. Men do not make decisions when your emotions are out of whack. And I know his emotions are out of whack because paternal instincts kicked in probably, if the rumors are true that it may have not been his kid, you know,
Mm.
he had the emotions from there, from being cheated on. Like there's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah.
So, you know,
He
never make
definitely
decisions.
he
Yeah,
definitely
never make those decisions, man, when your emotions is crazy.
yeah.
So yeah, man, discipline, man. Y'all gotta stop like fucking with low hanging fruit and then get mad when low hanging fruit act like low hanging fruit. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
it. That's it. You can't turn
Or
her into a housewife. The easiest, longest saying we've heard growing up. You cannot turn a hoe to a housewife. You can't
facts.
change what somebody want to do in their own self. Eh, that's it. That is what it is. You just can't do it. It sounds good. The dream will always sound perfect, but it's
Nah, that's
just a
facts.
dream.
That's facts. And like, yo, even if she, those rumors are not true and she wasn't a hoe, she just didn't want to be a mom. Like, I'm pretty sure that's a conversation y'all had.
Yep.
Maybe
Yep.
she wasn't ready, or I don't know what the young lady had going on in her life. Like I said, this is sad all the way around. I have empathy for everybody in this situation, you know, but yo, men, we do not get the benefit of the doubt. Stop putting yourselves in these situations.
Mhm.
Stop. Vet the women you're dealing with. Vet them.
Hell out
If
of
you don't know, if you don't know how to properly vet women, come holler at me. Hit me up on Instagram, and
EP2.
I'll teach you. You know what I'm saying? Or I'll probably do a video on how to properly vet a woman. You know what I'm
At
saying?
in rank 40, I'll give you another opinion too. We can help each other.
Exactly. And when you properly vet women, you're going to eliminate a lot of women. No matter how good they look, you're gonna eliminate a lot of like you're gonna turn down a lot of buns once you know how to properly vet women because you're gonna come into the mindset of what the worst that can happen probably will.
Mhm.
Like you gotta stop. We don't have the benefit of the doubt of being in shitty situations, acting with our emotions, and then coming out unscathed. No, we don't get that. We don't get
I
that
will
leeway. With men, like no, stop putting yourselves in these
always,
situations.
always move as if the worst thing possible will happen. Because if the better thing happens, you win it. You know how to handle it.
Exactly.
You know how to handle that. I thought that was some bullshit when I first heard that. But as I've grown, being 32 years old in this world, single parent, all types of wild shit. You if you move and act as if the worst thing will happen from every decision you make, life is just easier. That's the relativity of the situations.
Yeah. Look, you know what they say. If you always ready, you ain't never gotta get ready.
Stay ready, ain't gotta get ready. And I say that shit about
Facts.
20 times a day anyway.
If you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. You know what I'm saying? And as men, we don't have the luxury of having to get ready. We have to stay ready.
That's it.
Stop putting yourselves in these situations, man.
You gotta
And
see
with
shit
that,
coming from a mile away.
facts. And with that being said, man, we're gonna wrap this episode up. I thank you again. I thank Alpha. You know, I'm your host, the villain with the most. This is Sean Bills, my bro Ben Frank. This has
Yes,
been
sir.
Sue Me Later. Hit that like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you again. Peace.
Sue me later.
Toxic.
What?
She called me toxic.
Yeah, I bet.
She called me toxic.
So cliche.
Swear I am not shit.